Well, hello, welcome. It's Phil here in the Digital DJ Tips studio, back here for one day. Those of you who know my movements will know that I'm out of here for the summer, but I'm back here for one day. We are Digital DJ Tips. For those who don't know us and what we do, we're the people behind this book, Rock the Dance Floor, one of the biggest sellers on Amazon on how to DJ. We're also behind the digitaldjtips.com website. All those DJ courses, including an awesome one by Laidback Luke that's just come out. We'll tell you about that in a bit. But more to the point, we go live here on Facebook, on YouTube, on the Global DJ Network. Hello, Global DJ Network people. It's great to have you here, especially to share things when they happen. And one big thing that's just happened is this thing here, which is the Pioneer DJ DDJ-1000SRT. And that means that we've got stuff to talk about, right? Because this is a brand new DJ controller for Serato. So long, Serato DJs have said, can you please make us a controller that does what the DDJ-1000 does for Rekordbox users, that has the decks that look and have the big jog wheels and feel like you're using pro DJ gear, but also has the mixer in the middle with Serato, with the effects the same as on a pro DJ setup. Got the beat effects, we've got the sound color effects, a full mixer that feels very much like a Pioneer DDJ-1000 mixer from the clubs, but for Serato. And to be honest with you, a lot of people thought this would never happen. But guess what? It has happened. It was launched today. It's here. We've got one in the studio right here, right now. So I thought we'd go live just for 20 minutes or so to talk about this new unit, to talk about the pluses and minuses of it, to give you an idea about whether it might be for you, but mainly to answer your questions about it. So this is about you. I have my iPad with all your questions coming in live from YouTube, Facebook and the Global DJ Network. So ask away and I will just answer questions until we run out of stuff to talk about. Or until my 8 o'clock tonight webinar comes. Here in Digital DJ Tips Land, it's nearly 7 o'clock. I've got another student class at 8, but hey, we'll talk here for a good half hour or so. So that's what we do here. If you enjoy this, if you want to share the fact that we've got one of these to look at here with your friends, hit share. If you are watching the replay and you missed this live, then subscribe to the channel, hit notifications, then you'll be told when we go live with things like this. But let's get stuck straight in. We're talking about this unit here, the Pioneer DJ DDJ-1000SRT, a Serato version of the Pioneer DDJ-1000, which is until now only been a Rekordbox controller. Loads and loads of questions coming in already. What is in the jog wheel, says Hernando? Do they have waveforms? I'm not sure how well you can see this on the camera, which we can't zoom on a live to show you a bit closer. But the waveforms are very, well, they're not here. There's no album artwork and there's no waveforms in the center. Instead, it looks very much like the center of a deck on Serato. So you get the BPM, you get your pitch, you get whether you're looping or not, and you get the time left and the time elapsed, and that's pretty much it. So, and of course you can see that you have the moving display showing you the things going round. So it's different to Pioneer, to Rekordbox. It is different. To a lot of people that'll be a bit of a disappointment because the Rekordbox has got a waveform there with your cue points in. To scratch DJs, they might quite like that, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's a bit gimmicky having a waveform in the middle anyway. I'll use my laptop for that stuff. So it's dividing people, that one, but just so you know, there is no artwork, no waveform and no cue points in the display. It's got BPM, it's got time elapsed, time gone, it's got pitch, range, where your pitch is set to, and also it's got your loop, what deck you're set to, what vinyl mode you're in, and that's about it for that. So if you've just joined us, we're talking about this, the brand new DDJ-1000SRT, the new Serato controller from Pioneer, which looks very much like this. Does it not, people? Which is, of course, the original DDJ-1000. In fact, if you've got DDJ-1000 bags, accessories, deck saver, acrylic lids to go on them, they are all going to work. I mean, tooling wise, it's exactly the same. There's different wording in certain areas, but really there's nothing different about the outside of the unit. But there is different stuff on the inside, which is what I'm here to talk to you about today. So more questions, please. Live questions about the Pioneer DDJ-1000SRT. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube on the replay and thinking, this is long, this is going to be about half an hour long, guys, because this is a live show. You're watching a recording of a live show. So subscribe to the channel and then you can join in live. That's what it's all about. If you're looking for a quick to-the-minute review of everything about this unit, we have a full review and we'll link to it underneath this video. So we have a full review already on the Digital DJ Tips channel where Joey goes into a lot of depth, and there's another video coming from me looking at 5 big talking points. 7 actually. I got 2 more in there because I got so into this unit. Anyway, so there's 2 pre-recorded videos on YouTube if you're interested in that stuff. This is a live show though. Right, okay. Does anyone know how much it will cost? A couple of $100 more than the DDJ-1000. I think that comes in at about $1,400 if I'm correct. And that's about the same in euros, about 1,200 UK pounds. They're rough, but pretty much around that area. You're paying a bit more for the Serato license, I think. So look, to let you know about that, the first 5,000 of these have got the full Serato suite package. So you'll notice on the unit itself, if you can see, probably not, but it says pitch and time Serato there. That's because it's got key lock, key sync, key up and key down and key reset there and there. They all need Serato pitch and time to work. I'm pretty sure pitch and time will be provided with this unit whenever you buy it, but right now you get pitch and time plus all the other stuff in the Serato suite, the DVS, etc, etc. Because this is a standalone mixer. You can plug your decks in the back, plug your CDJ in the back, and use it as more than just a software controller. All right then, what an exciting piece of gear, says James Lambert. Dang, now I have to add another controller to my arsenal, says Eric. All right then. So keep sharing this with your friends, please. I'm sure they're going to want to see this stuff. So a lot of you are saying, I wish there were waveforms on the displays. That's what Loic says from France. Now, are there any notable differences between this and the Rekordbox version, says Alisa. Okay, let's talk about notable differences. Well, I've just given you one of them, the waveforms. The pads are different because they control different things. So, you know, you've got Serato's settings here on the pads. You haven't got beat jump. Beat jump's actually moved to here. And this is all the stuff you get on Serato. So there's no keyboard mode. It's called pitch play and it's slightly different. So there are differences down here because it's different software. There's a difference up here in the way the looping works because the 2 buttons on the left and right don't halve and double the loop that you set unless you hold down shift here, which might not sound very much, but it's actually quite annoying because on the Rekordbox version, it's very easy to set a loop and set the length of it. You have to use 2 hands and go to the shift, or 1 hand if you've got a long reach like that to do that. So other differences, you know what? The differences are mainly in the way the software has been implemented. There's no massive differences as such. However, if you're a Serato user, used to having control of all your effects, for instance, on your DJ controller, because all Serato DJ controllers until now have allowed you to control your effects from the controller, you can't do it on this. This is the first Serato controller ever. Wait, well, no, not ever. The Vestax VCI 300, anyone remember those from like 10 years ago, didn't have effects on board. But after that, every controller did, apart from this one, because there's no Serato effects in here to control at all, because the effects on this are the effects that you get on the Pioneer gear in Pro DJ booths. And that means that they're the big effects, which for some reason I'm suddenly unable to control the cameras to show you. So let me just click on there, which will probably give me control back again. There we go. So these effects here are from Pioneer Pro Gear. This is from Pioneer Pro Gear. These are built into this unit. If you plug record decks in the back, you can also use the effects on them. So it's pretty cool. But they're not your Serato effects. So there's a big, big difference there. You can't control your Serato effects in the unit. You could buy a SP1, which is a MIDI controller that's made by Pioneer, which you could put somewhere nearby, which has got effects and extra pads on it and stuff, so you can control them that way. You can always control them from the laptop, of course. They're still there, but they're not on the unit. So there's a big difference, Alyssa. Okay. What's the price in pounds, says Chris. I think it's about £1,200. Can this work with Virtual DJ, says Michael? Almost definitely. If not now, then very, very soon. They're very good at that stuff. Is there anything this unit does better than the Rekordbox equivalent? Well, on the first day of playing with it, no. I think maybe scratch DJs might think the scratch sounds when you're going very, very slow might be a bit better, because it was always a complaint about Rekordbox. So it might just be that that's better. We haven't tested that yet. But no, basically, if you want to use Serato, this is the one. If you want to use Rekordbox, the one I lifted up a minute ago, kind of is the one. It's slightly disappointing that you can't use Rekordbox and Serato on this, because it's got 2 USBs on the back. So if you could plug 2 DJs in and you could go back to back. no matter what software you were using, but you can't. You know, this is only Serato, it's not Rekordbox. Okay, looks cool, says Anthony. Does it have slicer mode? Yes, it does. I'm looking at it now. Slicer and slicer loop. They're down here on the pads. Good morning, Phil. I hope you're having a great day, says Jim, and you. Does it have sampler mode? Yes, sampler is down here on the pads as well. So lots of people are saying, can you use virtual DJ with it? A few of you are saying, Phil, your voice is very low. Nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. Turn your phones up. We'll try and make it a bit louder next time. I'm actually on my own in the studio. I've been abandoned by everyone. They're all off having their summer fun, and I'm here on my own. So sorry about that. I have no producer to turn the sound up. Is there a cheaper version of the 1000? Well, there's the 800, but only for Serato at the moment. I wouldn't bet against there being a DDJ-1000SRT for Serato at some point, because hey, you wouldn't need to be a genius to work that one out, would you? All right then, loads of you saying, does it work with virtual DJ? So it will do, because virtual DJ make their software work with everything, don't they? But it'll just be a matter of time for that. If you've just joined us, we're talking about this. It is the Serato DDJ-1000SRT. And it's a brand new controller from Pioneer for Serato users that is very much like the DDJ-1000 for Rekordbox. In fact, to look at it, you wouldn't know it was any different apart from the Serato logo and a few other decal differences. The size, the feel, the jog wheels, just everything about it is pretty much the same. I have a DDJ-1000, says Pete on YouTube, and our display is much better. We're going to get a them and us here, aren't we? This is going to go like Mac PC, isn't it, people? I love the full-size jog wheels, says Eric. Yeah, they are pretty awesome. You know, if you're used to this, you kind of don't want anything else. And lots of you are saying, hey, this looks cool. Is it for Serato? You know, the number of people asking if this works with virtual DJ is huge. Obviously, an awful lot of virtual DJ fans out there. How does it compare to the DDJ-SZ or the SZ, says Luke? It's a lot smaller. It hasn't got anywhere near the granular control of Serato that you get with the... this hasn't got anywhere near the granular control of Serato you get with the DDJ-SZ because it just doesn't have the effects controls, the looping's different and stuff. This is more stripped down. This feels like using club gear, but you just happen to be using Serato software. So that's probably the best way of describing this. Is there a dedicated button to switch between decks 1 and 3 and 2 and 4? Or do you have to switch inside Serato, says Dylan. There is a dedicated button there, and there's a dedicated button there. Decks 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. So there you go, no problem with that. So what's the price comparison, says Anthony? A couple of 100, 200 more than the Rekordbox version. You keep saying Serato. Why can't you just answer if it works with virtual DJ? Michael, politeness, please. I think I must have said it 10 times. We don't know yet if it works with virtual DJ. We're very sure that it will do soon. This is a Serato controller, Michael. It's written on the device. It's been released for Serato. Virtual DJ has very few controllers that are actually for virtual DJ, like written on the device. But virtual DJ are very good at making other people's controllers work with their software. So as I keep saying, very soon this will work with virtual DJ, I'm sure, because the original DDJ-1000 does as well. Calm down. It's just a live broadcast, Michael. All right then. Can you see the Serato effects live from the controller or just the mixer effects? There's no Serato effects at all on this controller at all. They're just hardware effects. One really nice thing though is, if you hit record in Serato on your laptop, it'll record everything you do on the hardware effects. It's all good. So you're going to get, you're going to use the noise effect, that one there. Sure you all know that one, or whatever else, the echo. There's a really nice dub echo on here. That one. That all gets recorded, which is really nice. So even though they're hardware effects, even though they work with record decks and whatever else you got plugged in, it's all fed back into Serato and recorded. So a nice touch. All right then. Once Denon DJ's Prime 4 Serato integration happens, it will be game over for the SRT, says Pete on YouTube. Well, we'll see. All right then. Thank you. Lots of you helping out Michael about virtual DJ, telling him it does not currently. All right then. Send me that one. No one has it in stock, says Kelvin. This is actually a genuine test unit. It came in a plain box, and you can still see that yellow sticker on the side. This is genuinely a test DDJ. I had to actually update all the firmware and get a beta version of the software to get this unit to work at all. So we won't be sending it to you, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. Can I make my original DDJ-1000 work with Serato? Says Heriberto. No, you can't, unfortunately. One of the sad things about this is that this only works with Serato and the other one only works with Rekordbox. So is it just out today, and is Serato dedicated? Says Mihao. Yes, it is out today and Serato is dedicated. Okay, so I'm always at work, says Rick, when you do these videos. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Rick. Well, at least you're not in bed like Australia and New Zealand, right? I love it, says Michael. Well, that's easy. Some people, honestly, some of these comments, some people are like stuck records. Will it work with Rekordbox also? A lot of you want to know this. I mean, it's really worrying. Not worrying, it's just saddening, really, I think. This works with Rekordbox. It looks the same, doesn't it? It's just like the same controller. It's exactly the same unit. But this one works with Rekordbox. It's called the DDJ-1000. And this one works with Serato. It's called the DDJ-1000SRT. And unfortunately, they don't work with the other software. You have to buy the one for the software you want to use. DJ Bicons on YouTube says, hi Phil, first time on your live show. Good to have you here. Does it have a selfie button, says James? No, but not going to be very long. It's not going to be very long till it does. These are all overpriced junk, says William. No doubt a turntable hi-fi user who does not like this newfangled digital crap. William, okay, fair enough. Don't buy it. DJ, no, William, I'm sure you've got a good reason, but you didn't tell it in your comment, did you? You just spouted off. Rodney says, does it work with Rekordbox? No, I keep saying it doesn't. So you have to get the Rekordbox version. You know, the thing is, the good thing about the Rekordbox version of this is that you can then use the same library, the same work you've done in Rekordbox with your music collection to DJ on club gear, and this feels like club gear. So the leap between playing on the Rekordbox version of this and playing in a club is not very big. It's slightly bigger on the Serato version of this because you've got to get Rekordbox in order to output your music to USB in order to play on a club system, blah, blah, blah. So this is a bit further removed from that kind of whole Pioneer ecosystem. I think they've made it because they realized so many people love Serato and there was money in it, frankly. So I think that's why it's happened. All right then, I nearly bought one today, says Ian. I'm glad I didn't, as I've been missing the Serato effects. So there you go. How does it compare to the SZ2 or the SZ2? Fewer features. The SZ2 I think is a great controller, and I'll tell you why. Because it works with, and the SX2 as well, because they work with Rekordbox and Serato. At the beginning of Pioneer making Rekordbox controllers, they made Rekordbox work with all the range of Serato controllers at the time, which were like the SB, the SR, the SX, and the SZ or the SZ, and then the SX2 and the SZ2, I think, and the SB2 also work with Serato, and then they stopped making them work with. Also work with Rekordbox, and then they stopped. So those earlier controllers work with both softwares. So a bit like some people buy older Macs because they've still got, you know, HDMI and SD card slots on them and stuff. You might find that if you get yourself an SX2, it will be the controller for you if you want to use Rekordbox, if you want to use Serato, if you want all the effects on the controller at the top here, which this one doesn't have. It's a different kind of controller. But yeah, new isn't always best, is the truth. All right then. I usually bypass products that ain't Serato. Well, there you go, Kev. Good to see some loyalty there for the Serato people, I'm sure. Does the second microphone channel have an echo? There is a great story, a great question. I'm looking now for you. Whether the second microphone channel has an echo. So mic 1 is there, it has a level, mic 2 has a level, there's an EQ for both microphones, and you can put the color effects here onto microphone. So if you put the color effects onto microphone and select echo there, then both microphone channels will have echo on them, but there doesn't seem to be any echo just for the mic channel. You'll have to use the main effects here, the main beat effects, to get that echo on there. So there is your answer to that one. So can you please play a track? And how's the feel of the Platters? With pleasure. So here is a track playing. The Platters feel exactly the same as Platters on a CDJ. I mean, exactly the same. They're big, they're clunky, got that same feel to them. You've got a jog adjust, so you can make them heavy. Watch this. See how that stops? Or if I make it light, you get that kind of UK spin back sound. Yep, so you've got a choice there of how you set the Platters up. Scratch wise, they're very clean. I mean, you can probably hear through my microphone that they're rattly. If I turn the volume down, listen. And that is just what these kind of Platters are like. They're very different to the kind of capacitive Platters that you get on most controllers. Some people love this style, some people hate it. I think people genuinely love it because they're used to hearing it in clubs. So yeah, the Platters are awesome. No problem at all with them. I think any DJ that's ever played in a club is going to be fine using those. And any who hasn't is going to take to them quickly. I mean, they are a standard for a reason, right? So DJ Reef has got MIDI mapping questions. I can't answer them, my friend, because we haven't had a chance to mess with the mappings yet. We've literally only picked it up this morning. So there we go. One big reason I can think of would be using Rekordbox prepared music sticks. Going to be an expletive having set cue points for Serato and then Rekordbox in the clubs. Yeah, you know, this is not as convenient if you want to DJ in the clubs with the same music collection that you DJ on your controller with, because you know, it's got different software. So I was planning on getting the new Pioneer SX3, but it's almost the same price as this. This looks like a good deal, and you get the first 5,000 versions of this get the whole Serato DJ suite, all Serato software, which is a pretty sweet deal if you can get your hands on one of them, of course. All right, I'm just going to scroll through the questions. What does that shift option on reverse do? So you're talking about this. This is the reverse button, the sensor button. So basically, when you're playing a track, you press sensor and it'll go backwards. And then when you take your hand off it, it'll go forwards from where it would have been. So I'll just let you listen for a bit so you can get a sense of it. So you hear how that's keeping time. That's typically for cutting out cursing and stuff in tracks, but it can be quite nice, as you can just hear, just for fun. If you hold down Shift and press that button, it just goes backwards. It doesn't jump back to where it would have been. So it's literally playing the track backwards. Press it again, it goes forward again. So you could play a whole track backwards if you want. There you go, leave it. It's playing backwards on its own now. Okay, and it flashes to tell you that. Press it again and it, with the shift on, and it goes back to normal. So that's probably the more useful of the two without shift. The other one is just simply a reverse function. So there you go, that's what that one does. Okay, so the next questions. Why are they charging more? It's because they'll have had to pay Serato for the software. Rekordbox is Pioneer's software, so they're not paying a license fee to put it in the box. I'm guessing, by the way, but that's normally how this works. It's worth it just for the mixer, says Doraj. Yeah, the mixer is really nice. I mean, it's a proper, full-on Pioneer style mixer. 4 channels, it's laid out exactly like mixers are in the clubs, exactly the same beat effects down here. There's none missing. They're really, really nice effects, and the same sound effects here. So yeah, you've got basically a Pioneer mixer bang in the middle there, and it works even with your laptop unplugged. Just plug anything into it and it'll work. All right then. All right, so more questions. Does it work with Decadence, says Fatima? No, it won't. Decadence is very, very old software. Just as you buy a new controller, the next one comes out, says Roland. Just as you buy a new pair of trainers, someone treads on them, right? It happens. Keep your controller for 5 years and then who cares what came out? Loads will come out before you replace it, right? I don't want to wait till the 24th of August, says Kelvin. Is that how long it is until they can get you one? Wow, not that long, Kelvin. So you can plug and play a DDJ SP1 and get all the control for the Serato Effects, says Limin Lee. Yes, you can. Or any Serato accessory. There's a Reloop one as well, which is an accessory pad controller. Or indeed, you could plug any pad controller in and program it yourself to control the effects, or any controller with knobs and so on. So yeah, you know, you can get around that. Thanks for the help, Phil. This is my new favorite controller, says DJ AP. By the way, if you've just joined us, we're talking about the Pioneer DJ, DDJ-1000 SRT, the Serato version of their controller, of their DDJ-1000 controller. In France, the price is €14.99, says Loic. So I'm just quickly scrolling to see if there's anything that we haven't covered here, because we're going to have to go in a minute because I've got a class to teach. You know that. Phil, my friend, which controller, Denon or Pioneer, will work with the Behringer CMD series? You can't get a controller to work with another controller, Fatima. None of them, unfortunately. So lots of you saying, yeah, you've ordered it and you're waiting for it. Okay. Please stop typing in all capitals. It makes it seem like you're yelling. Say some of the people in the comments on Facebook to other people in the comments. It's good to see self-policing going on in our stuff. DJ Mark 1, it's always good to have you here on Facebook. Says, I just ordered both 1000 models. I can't wait to try them out. Now there is dedication, ordering the Rekordbox and the Serato one. The market's crying out for standalone versions of the 1000s. Yeah, you know, I guess it can't be long before one of them comes. You know, we've seen standalone units like the Prime 4 from Denon. If Pioneer could put a unit like this with a screen on it and make it standalone, I think you're right, a lot of people would go for it. DJ Mark 1. All right then, I want to just make something really clear. I have hundreds and hundreds of comments here. So for you impatient people who are shouting because you think you're not getting an answer, guys, I can't answer everyone. I'm doing it as quickly as I can. Please just show a bit of patience. Okay. I'm not sure if you already, oh yeah, we did announce that, so that's cool. Nice laptop stand. Team, can you tell Enzo in the comments where we got this from, please, because I know you've got the link, because everyone always asks, don't they? I'm surprised that Pioneer hasn't come back with an answer to the Denon Prime series, says Ali. You know, these things take time, right? So hopefully, for the good of everyone, they will do that. All right then. Will this controller work with Algorithm DJ for iPad? Probably. If you can get the right lead to plug it in, you can probably map it, but I don't know that. All right then. There are some Serato effects on there, says James. I'm pretty sure they're all hardware effects. They're all built in here as hardware effects. But you could be right. It could be that one or two of these are actually Serato effects. But the thing is, I've got one or two of these here. This is what James is talking about. But I've got Serato open on the laptop over here. And none of the effects on there are being controlled by this. So again, I'm going to be 99% sure that this is all hardware effects here, James. But thank you for asking. Thank you for questioning. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one, my friend. All right then, just before we disappear, a few more questions. The jog wheels are awesome, say a few of you. Are those platters better than those on the SZ or the SC? Well, it depends if you like the big mechanical platter style. I say they're different, but not necessarily better. It's got the same crossfader as the S9. It's got the Magvel crossfader, which is a magnetic crossfader. Really, really nice, really buttery. You scratch DJs are going to be really into that, without a doubt. High quality crossfader indeed. Does it work with Tractor, says Marseille? I don't think it does, no. Certainly someone would have to map it for that to be the case. Is this simply Pioneer's quick answer to Denon's recent release of the Prime 4 to keep people wanting to stay with Pioneer? And a desperate attempt to now keep up with Denon? Well, I don't know, it is what it is. It's just a new controller. A lot of people wanted this, you know, for what it is. A lot of Serato users said, please, can we have one? So I guess they're just kind of responding to market demand. But as a few of you are saying, it would be nice to see standalone gear to follow on Pioneer's existing stuff like the XR, the XDJ RX2, for instance, which is a nice little standalone controller, but nowhere near as good as the Denon DJ Prime 4 for sure. All right then, finally, a few questions to end off with. Lots and lots of you are just asking kind of some of the things that we've answered. No, it doesn't work with Virtual DJ yet. It doesn't. Sorry, I don't run Virtual DJ. I can't give you a better answer than that. No, it doesn't work with Rekordbox. You have to buy Serato, this one, or Rekordbox, the other one. Is it bundled with DVS? For the first 5,000, it's bundled with everything. Then you'll have to buy DVS after that if you don't get one of the first 5,000. It's priced at about $12.99 in the USA. Musician's Friend have them apparently. So there you go. There's a tip for you USA people. Steve just says, take my money. Kelvin in capital says, I'm not yelling. I'm just making sure my comments are big. Sense of humour, you see, that's all it takes, Kelvin. So why can't it be the same controller with the option to choose the software? Who knows? Commercial decisions, marketing decisions, I don't know. Lots of you are saying, I wish it was standalone. You know, it's not. You do need your laptop to use this unit for sure. How does the crossfader compare to the S9? It's the same crossfader, I think, as the S9. Certainly a very, very good Magfeld crossfader. All right then. I'd like to thank everyone for coming on today. It's awesome to have so many of you here and commenting, but I'm going to leave it there basically because I've got to prepare for my lesson, and any of you who are with me in half an hour, I'm going to be disgracefully underprepared because I've only got half an hour to get everything ready, but I'm going to take a big swig of my water, sit down at the computer over there and get stuck into preparing our lesson for the students in half an hour. Talking about students, this here is a link to something very special. It's our Laid Back Luke course that we've made with Laid Back Luke. It's our mixing course. It's awesome. It's done brilliantly. We only launched it last week. It's actually about to end in 15 hours or something. We've got a special launch offer on it, which you wouldn't want to miss. It's like you save $100 and you also get to enter a draw to go backstage with Luke and to get one-on-one DJ advice. We fly you in, we get you hotels, and you get to meet Luke and hang out with him at a gig. So check out the link if you're interested in learning how Laid Back Luke DJs, if you're interested in getting a mixing course that shows mixing tricks from the mind of one of the biggest DJs in the world. It's our latest course at Digital DJ Tips. For those of you that don't know, we're a DJ school. That's what we do. It's why I'm off to teach a lesson in half an hour, and it's why we work with people like Luke on stuff like that. So if you're interested in checking that training out, now is a really good time because you're going to save $100 on the purchase of the course, and you get the chance to go and hang out with Luke at one of his festivals in the near future. So go to that link, djtips.co/Luke, if you're interested in that. Meanwhile, we've been talking about the Pioneer DJ DDJ-1000SRT, the exciting new Serato controller from Pioneer. We think it's pretty great, but you do want to look at some of the pros and cons of this before buying it because it is different to some Serato controllers. And for some people, there might be features here that are either not the same or even missing that mean it's not the best choice for you. So think carefully, look carefully. We have a full review of this on Digital DJ Tips, and tomorrow I'll be publishing a video with my 7 things to think hard about before buying this. So it's out of stock everywhere already, I think, so there's no rush. Take the time to look at those videos because it's, look, 13, 14, 1,500 pounds, dollars, euros. It's quite a lot of money. So make sure you choose carefully and don't throw that cash around. But it is a great controller. We've enjoyed reviewing it here today at Digital DJ Tips, and I hope you've enjoyed being on this live broadcast and asking your questions. Meanwhile, from all of us here, oh well, it's only me here, I've already told you that, but from all of us in our extended team, have a great time, get good, get out there and make the moments, and I'll see you again very soon. Till then, bye folks.